Hi everyone, this is Madeline Feierstein for Emerging Civil War. I'm here with Pat Kelly-Fischer, who just gave a riveting talk at our symposium on Canby and Sibley's fight for the West. So Pat, you also have a book that came out recently. Would you like to talk to us about that?
Yeah, so the book is Desert Empire. It's about the 1862 New Mexico campaign, which, if you missed the talk, covers what is one of the most ambitious campaigns of the Civil War, when the Confederacy tried to invade what was then the New Mexico territory and conquer what is now California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. Mm-hmm. It was a flawed plan, but it was an extremely ambitious one. And for a brief moment there, looks like it might work.
Interesting. So what actually got you into talking about not only your lecture topic today, but also the topic of the book? What got you so fascinated with this region?
So I've been interested in the Civil War since I was a little kid, like a lot of us. Mm-hmm. And then I grew up on the East Coast, but I moved to Colorado in 2014. Mm-hmm. And I had some sense that there was a campaign out in New Mexico. And my wife and I were on a road trip through New Mexico, and I saw one of those beautiful brown signs for an historic site. And I'm like, we've been driving for a couple hours. We could use a break, right? Mm-hmm. And so we visited Fort Union, and that kind of renewed my interest in the topic. And then when I started writing for Emerging Civil War, it was about this.
Awesome. Now, in your research for the lecture, for the book, what was something that really surprised you that you didn't expect to find or that shocked you?
Mm-hmm. So I think two things jump out. One is, you remember that feeling growing up when you first started reading about the Civil War, you don't know what's going to happen next? Yeah. When, the best book about Gettysburg, you still know how it ends.
Sure.
Researching this and reading about this, for me, it was still, I don't know what happens next. I don't know what's coming next. And it was really fun to get to relive that. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people, this is not a campaign they're familiar with. Sure. Understandably, I'm not going to pretend this is the most important campaign of the war. But the thing I was hoping to do is give people that feeling again. I think the thing that really surprised me was, Sibley has this reputation of being an absolute mess of a human being. He's a drunk, he's sick. The whole thing has sort of this laughable feel to it. Yeah. When you dig in more to Sibley's story, yes, he is a drunk. And yes, he is in some ways very incompetent. He also has a pretty great record coming out of Mexico and a great record coming out of Bleeding Kansas. And there are moments where this isn't the worst plan in the world. And so the more I read about it, the more it felt like, this isn't just a lark. This isn't just a funny story. Though, to be honest, there are parts of it that are laughable. They actually kind of had a shot. As far as Confederate plans in the war go, this holds together better than some of them.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us to discuss your lecture and your book. This is Madeline Feierstein for Emerging Civil War with Pat Kelly-Fischer. We'll see you online and on the battlefield.